of the Literature Challenge. Our final week of the Literature Challenge. Hey, y'all. It's our final week of the Literature Challenge Credit Edition. Go ahead on and tag and tell a friend because we're going to go over the last few steps of the Literature Challenge. And then we're going to celebrate. Let's get physical, physical. Y'all say you like it when I sing. So I'm singing, honey. I want to get physical. All right. How many of you have seen your way to the end of the Literature Challenge? Be honest. Have you gotten to the end of the challenge? Who fully completed it? Who got their certificate of completion? If you didn't, that's okay. Come on into the room, the Dreamcatcher room. We are talking about the Literature Challenge Credit Edition and the final week. I'm going to go step by step. This book is available on Amazon. It's the Literature Challenge Credit Edition. It's helps you follow along with the challenge that you did. You did. That's awesome. Because I remember we started off strong. And here's the thing: even if you just did a couple days, you did one day, you did no days. That's okay. You can do it again. You know, someone said you didn't even get close. That's okay. Just one day is going to make a difference in your credit. You know, the good thing about the Literature Challenge is that it's available to you. Of course, my daggone heat. I would tell my sister to turn it off, but hopefully you can't hear too loud in the background. I got one of them old houses, okay, with the boiler heat. Okay, and so my boiler's like clicking and hissing and stuff. All right, so let's go over week 3. So if you guys remember the Literature Challenge, week 1 was all about credit knowledge. So I spent that whole week teaching you like all the components of credit. All right. Week 2 was about credit improvement. So you got to understand how to raise your credit score, how to maintain your credit. Really, like, how do you improve your credit? You know, how do you clean it up? How do you raise your credit score? That's what week 2 was all about. Right. And then week 3 is all about credit maintenance. Because 1, I want you to understand what is credit. 2, I want you to understand how do you effectively make your credit score better. And then 3, I want you to understand how do you maintain it beyond this. Okay? Does that make sense? Lipitor challenge? I said credit challenge. So don't make me block you, Daniel. Okay? Don't make me block you. Cause it's nothing to block you. All right. So yeah, good. So that's what we're gonna go over. Okay. So week 3, if you have the book, almost done. That's great. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Trey. Give me 1 second. Trey, can you turn on the heat? Trey. What's the point of having your sister over and she ain't turning that daggone hissing heat? See, it's real around here. Hopefully you can't hear too loud because the thing is like right there. All right. So we're gonna go over day 15 to day 22 on today. Okay. All right. So day 15 is going to be on page 60. All right. So if you have it, we're gonna go day by day, all year long. 3 things I pray. All right. So day 15 is hard versus soft inquiry. That's what day 15 is. You're going to learn the difference between a hard and soft inquiry. Do you know what a hard and soft inquiry is? You're about to learn today because we're going to do a review of all the days. So, how do you rock this task? Pull your credit report, which you should have already. Review the items in your credit inquiry section of your report. So, I believe it was week 1 or 2. I told you to pull your credit report, and we went over section by section. What do those components mean? And one of those sections shows you how many inquiries we have. Now, there are it's important for you to understand that every time someone pulls your credit report and you give them permission, it can affect it affects 10% of your credit report. So think of your credit report as a pie. 10% is how many times that you allow someone to look into it for the purpose of loaning you money. Loaning you money might look like opening up a credit card, getting a mortgage, getting a car note, um, loaning you money. Okay. And so, whenever you know it's a hard inquiry also known as a hard pull, because this is when you have to give them your what's it called, your social security number. If they ask for your social security number or the last four digits of your social security number, they're going to do a hard increase. Like I was at Marshall's the other day, get me a little one or two, a little piece, a little set. And the lady behind the counter was like, hey, you're spending whatever, $60, whatever. If you open up a credit card, you could save 15 or 20%. But what the thing that she's not saying out loud is, if I allowed her to run my credit so I could save my 15 or 20%, even if I got denied that card, I was going to lose sometimes upwards of 30 points. Can you imagine? So you can save $2 down to the Marshall. Now, don't leave my Marshall. I love you, Marshalls, girl. I do. I want a partner, but I'm not going to open up a credit card with you. Don't do that. Because you're going to need those points for when you want to get a car, for when you want to get a house, for when you want to get like a student loan or a business loan. Child, save them points. Okay. That's a hard inquiry. So anytime you say, yes, here is my social security number. So hard inquiries are necessary when you purchase a home, when you purchase a car, student loans. Those are necessary, but they're not necessary, so you could just, save a few bucks down to the TJ of the max. Okay. A soft inquiry or a soft pull is basically what a credit card company pre-qualifies you. You ever get like those pre-qualification letters in the mail? That's basically the difference between, they kind of looked at your transcript, your financial transcript, and said, based upon what we could see from afar without your permission, this person looks like they are eligible for a credit card or whatever bank loan or whatever we're trying to sell to them. So that's not on you, because if you didn't get them permission, they're not going to give you a mark against that. A soft pull doesn't lower your credit score because you didn't get permission. And they don't really fully know if you're eligible. They're guessing. And then if you decide, I do want that card, and then you go ahead and say, yes, go ahead and run my credit to see if I'm eligible, then yes, that might be a hard inquiry. Does that make sense? So always ask what type of inquiry is that application going to trigger. Always, you want to shop around and plan for a loan. Especially when I'm just shopping around, I will go get my credit score with me, and I will print out my credit report, my credit score. And then what I'll do is I will then take it with me when I'm shopping. I'm like, use this. Tell me if I'm eligible with this. Don't pull nothing yet. I'm not going to give you my social security number. And as I shop around, depending on what it is, then if I decide this is the apartment, this is the car, this is the home, whatever it is, then I'm like, okay, you're the one. So that's one pull. Go ahead and run my credit. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Can student loan debt stop you from owning a home? Absolutely, if you own a lot. Okay. And then don't apply for every and any credit card. Remember in college, some of y'all too young. But back in the day, can you believe I'm 55? It's like, I'm not 55. I said I'm gonna start saying I'm 55. So y'all could be like, no. That's good, right? I'm gonna be like, girl, what are you talking about? I'm 55. These old bones. So you could be like, did you tip the budget? I'm 44. But I want you to be like, Tiffany is 55. She looks amazing. I'm gonna start saying it. You think I'm playing? Start to trick these algorithms. I'm gonna get these seasoned citizens influencer coin. I'm like, how do you get 55-year-old skin? So said, bye, Tiff. Girl, let me have it. Girl, I am. My mother is 70. She don't got a wrinkle on her face. So I'm 55. Go ahead, run tell that. Your big homie Tiff is 55. And play me it. Okay. I'm gonna get all the influencer coins. Like, 55. Okay. I want that senior citizen discount. I do. Oh, yes. Girl, I can't. Let me tell you something. I'm not one of these people that's scared to get older. I'm like, 50 looks cute. I seen 50. It's cute because y'all are out here looking fabulous at 50. I've seen you ladies out and about when you're like, oh my God, budget needs stuff. I'm like, oh, girl, you smell good. Skin good. Y'all gonna fool me. I know 50 is cute because one, you got a little bit more coin and you have a little less, like, I care about what you think about me. I can't wait to get to 50 so I feel like at 50, you ascend to your full level of sass. When you're like, I'm sorry, what? Girl, I don't have the time, the energy, or the inclination to what care. Okay, I'm not the one, the two, or the three. Go play with toys. Somebody else. Oh, I can't wait. Because still in my 40s, I still be caring a little bit. I'm like, I don't care, but I'm just practicing. But I feel like at 50, I'm like, I'm really not gonna care, right? Yes, honey. And you still look good. I said my mother is 70. She's fine. Fine. Okay. So it's cute. It gets cuter and cuter, So yes. All right. So that is day 15, which is soft versus hard inquiry. Y'all good? Yes. Okay. Okay. Day 16, your credit mix. And we're on page 63. If you're looking for the book, the Literature Challenge Credit Edition, it's available on the Emma of the Zons. Um, also at yeah, it's available on Amazon. Okay, so credit maintenance. We're talking about week 3. What's your credit mix? So learn what type of debt makes up your credit mix and what to consider before taking on new debt. Okay. So another 10% of your credit score is your credit mix, right? So you're going to pull your credit report. This is why I had you do the homework before, because you should already have your credit report. You're going to review the types of debt that you have and learn to decide when it's the right time to open a new account. Okay. Okay. So here's some of the things you have to remember. So there's 2 types of accounts, right? There is a revolving debt, so that's really like credit cards. And then there are installment loans. This is like an installment loan is when you pay back typically monthly till you pay a thing off, right? And so don't open up an account just for the sake of opening up an account. It's only 10% of your score. I just want you to be aware of what they're looking at, right? You're going to only open an account that's going to serve a purpose. You're committed to managing responsibly and you can what? Afford it. Okay. And so there's other ways to kind of like, so there's these credit builder loans that you can look into. If you're like, this part of your credit score seems a little light, you could certainly get something called a credit builder loan. Credit builder loans are loans where you actually don't get the money. So you would borrow money, air quotes borrow. That money would sit in a savings account or a money market account, earning a little bit of interest. And they're going to give you a card. No, that's a secured card. You would borrow money, and that money they wouldn't give it to you. But every month you'd be paying it back. So usually you want to borrow the lowest, like $500. And so maybe you pay like, I think it's like $40 a month. So by the end of the year, it looks like, wow, every month you made an on-time payment. And the good thing is you just have it automatically withdrawn. Every month you made an on-time payment. And at the end of the year, you finish the payment, which looks like you paid off a debt in full, which is one of the best ways to raise your credit score, is to pay off a debt in full. And then they give you your money back because they never gave you the loan. So it's like, not only you get to raise your credit score, it's like you got a little forced savings. Does that make sense? And so credit builders loan is a great way if you don't have installment debt and you're like, I feel like this is what's holding my credit score back. You could do a credit builder loan. You don't have to go out and just get like, loan for loan's sake. Okay. And we talk about that on day 16. And I remind you that like whatever credit card that you do have, try to have one that you pay off in full every month. Put your cheapest bill on it and try to pay it off in full every month. And just be mindful that anytime you open up new credit, it potentially can lower your length of credit history because it's an average. So let's just say you have one card that's 10 years old, and now you have this new card that's 1 year old. So they're going to say 10 plus 1 is 11 divided by 2. So that's now all of a sudden your length of credit history is not 10 years, it's 5.5 years. So just being mindful about the more credit that you open, you're lowering your length of credit history, which is 10% of your score. So it's not super critical, but good to know. Okay. So that was day 16. It was just all about that mix, your credit mix. Okay. Day 17, we're on page 67. If you have the book, Literature Challenge, the credit edition. There's different editions. Y'all been asking me. So where is it? So this is this edition. Someone's like, I got this edition, which is not bad. This is the fundamentals. So this has credit, budgeting, savings, that it has all of the things. This edition, if you see it. But I have an edition that's just the savings challenge. I have an edition that's just the home buying challenge. I have one that's just net worth, and we have just credit. So this is just credit. So if you're wanting to get the book to go along with the challenge, this is just credit. But it doesn't mean you can't get the other ones. But just being mindful that the credit one looks like this. Okay. Okay. All right. Day 17, lower your interest rates. Okay. So we're on page 67, how to lower your interest rate. So one, you're going to learn how to use a balance transfer card to lower your interest rate, right? And you're going to learn how to use installment loans to lower your interest rate. Here's how. Okay, now here's the thing. Understanding that the amount of debt you owe is 30% of your score. So so it's called your utilization. What you could owe versus what you do owe. So let's just say I could owe $500, but I do owe 200 on the 5, right? And so this is a pretty decent ratio. I don't know why these stupid balloons keep coming up here. It's a pretty decent ratio, right? So if you owe 5, you could owe 5. This is your limit, but your balance is 5. Child, this is what we call maxed out. Don't let me out. You're maxed out. You're maxed, right? And so you don't want to be maxed out. So if you are maxed out, it is going to affect your ability to get the best interest rate. Interest is two ways interest in your favor. Interest is the amount of money you own on the money that you kind of have in your bank account, you have in like the market. And interest is also the fee that you pay on the money you borrow. So for the sake of credit, we're talking about the fee that you pay on the money that you borrow. Okay. And so during this task, you are going to fill out your debt list, from day 10. If you haven't done it, do it. And you're going to, here's some options for lowering your interest rate. You can transfer, if you have a credit card and decent credit, you can apply for a balance transfer card and transfer to another card with a better interest rate. So let's just say you have this one card, it's your old card, your credit score is decent, in the high 600s, 700s or beyond. And you're like, I've got this credit card. I look at it, dang, the interest rate here is 25%, but my credit score is pretty good. Let me see this balance transfer card that's been offered to me. This interest rate is 9%. So that means if I go from this to this, I will lower my interest from 25% to 9%, which means I'll pay less money monthly and over time paying down that debt. Okay. And so that is one of the ways to lower your interest rate. One of the best ways to kind of put more money in your pocket is to pay less money in fees, and interest rates are fees. Okay. Okay. Also, you can also consider taking out a personal loan with a lower interest rate to consolidate your credit card debt. So what does that mean? So some financial institutions will allow you to take out like a personal loan with them. And so now this is really important. You want to make sure that you have to be really emotionally ready that if you're going to borrow from another institution to pay off this debt, that you are not going to just run this debt back up again, because that's what they're counting on. So let's just say you go to your bank, you say, hey girl, I am ready. I owe $10,000 here, but the interest rate here is 30%. Child, they bugging. But you bank, you cute or whatever. You told me I could borrow money for 8%. I want to go from 30 to 8%. And so the bank says, your credit is looking cute or whatever. Let's do it. So then you make the transfer from the car. You're like, the bank gives you the money. You pay off the car. Whoop, whoop. Put it over now. Too fast. Then this card looks like the card is wooing you like a siren in the sea. Spend with me, come and see in a world of imagination. And you're like, leave me alone. That card is calling to you. And now you already owe the bank the $10,000 that was here. And then you start to use the card just a little bit, just a touch, just a little bit, right? And before you know it, that card is back up at 10. So now you owe 10 here and 10 here. You done doubled your luck, your bad luck, And so you have to know yourself. Everyone is not ready to borrow money in order to pay down debt. And it's okay if you're not. You have to know yourself. I know myself. If cookies are in the house, I say this all the time, I'm going to eat the cookies. Like I had to tell my sister, because my niece and nephew come over all the time. My sister lives with me, and she buys them Oreos. Girl, I love Oreos. I'm eating them. And she buys them, what do they call it? Goldfish. I love goldfish. Forget them kids. I be eating up all them kid snacks. I'd tell her, hide them stupid snacks from me, please. Hide them. I don't want to see where they are. I don't want to know. Because if I know where they are, I don't have the willpower. It's okay to say that. I don't have the willpower not to eat up them kid snacks. Juice boxes, delicious. I don't know how y'all do it with your kids. Like them gummy snacks, child, delicious. Who can say no to goldfish? Especially if you get a little sweet, salty mix, a little Oreo with a little goldfish with a little fruit snack. Ooh, girl. And a little juice box. Heaven. 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 So Knowing yourself, you have to know yourself. And so, yeah, so if you are going to make that balance transfer, here's some of the things that you're going to look for. Because I see Yasmina. That's exactly. So here's some of the things you're going to look for, right? That you're going to look for an introductory rate of 0%, right? And so that just means that when you transfer your card, so sometimes this is not going to work for borrowing money, not necessarily, but if you're going to transfer your card, an introductory rate means that we will take what you owe here, transfer the balance over here, and say you owe 0% for 18 months, 12 months. Last time I got one, it was 2 years, but that's because you have to have really great credit in order to do so. Right now, that you want to ask some questions. How long is the introductory rate? Right? Is it 12 months? Is it 18 months? And what happens after that period expires? And what's the interest rate going to be after that? Because sometimes they lure you in with this 0%, and you're like, okay. And all of a sudden, after 0%, it jumps to 40%. That's crazy, right? I mean, it's never jumped that high typically, but you want to make sure that, like, if you haven't paid it off, what happens? Because sometimes the companies be real sneaky, like, here's what they do. They say, Tiffany, girl, I see you owe a lot over there. This is ghetto over there. Come over here. We will let you for a year and a half. You ain't got to pay no interest, girl, because we friends. They're not friends. What they're hoping is that you don't pay it off, because some of the institutions will do this. Let's just say that $10,000 that you went from here to here, if you don't, not all of them do this, that's why you want to ask, if you don't pay off that full $10,000 after the 18 months, not only do you owe interest on what's left over, so let's just say you have $100 left over. They're like, no, that's not $100. You should have paid it off, girl, because guess what? You got to pay interest on the full 10,000. That 30% new interest rate that I'm gonna charge you on the full 10,000. Some of them do that. These ain't your friends, okay? So you want to ask that question. How long is the introductory period? What happens when it expires? What happens if you make a late payment? Some of them, you make a late payment, oh, you back up. Sis, we said on time, in full. So that 0% rate is gone. That's for on time, folks. You're not on time no more. So what happens if you pay late? So you want to make sure of that. And how much of your balance is likely to be transferred, because they don't like to tell you that. You owe $10,000 here, and you're like, well, how much is the balance transfer? Oh, we're gonna have to see. Well, click see. Give me a likely number, so that way I know. That's really important to know, so that way if it's even worth it. And I remember I didn't ask that question. I had $10,000 I want to transfer over, and they gave me a balance transfer card of $2,000. I said, daggone it. I mean, I took the two so I could pay it off for less interest, but still, you want to ask. Sometimes they won't tell you, but you definitely want to ask. And if there's any additional fine print, if you're satisfied with the terms, go ahead and roll it over, right? And so installment loans, let me see. Here's some things you want to think about when you're doing an installment loan. What's the loan interest rate? Are there any application or processing fees? Because sometimes that's how they get you. Grandma said, if it don't come out in the rent, it comes out in the what? The wash, right? How long is the loan term? Whether applying for the loan will trigger a hard inquiry on your report. Same thing with balance transfer card. Is this going to be a hard inquiry? We just talked about what that is. Does that mean it's going to show up on my credit report and it's going to pull down my score if there's any other fine print? Let me see. This is something really important. Make sure to ask how much you'll pay in interest for the entire loan term to find the installment loan that will save you the most money. So it's like, okay, so if I pay whatever this monthly amount is, what will I end up really paying? Ask that. So it's like, okay, so I'm transferring this $10,000 to you, but what will I end up paying? Oh, 15. Okay, let me keep searching. Because sometimes they're like, oh, it's only $200 a month. And these people told you this is $250, but there's a difference in that 5-year loan that you just took out of maybe an additional $2,000. So you want to know in full, when I'm done with this loan, what will I have paid? Is there a prepayment penalty? Sometimes the people will get you, even when you're getting a mortgage, or a car note. Is there a prepayment penalty? Sometimes the people want their money so bad that if you pay too early, they penalize you. So you want to ask that question too. Okay? You got it. Okay, you guys are good? Okay. I have no credit card debt, but wanted to provide more evidence for what you're saying. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Say it again. So yeah. Okay. So day 18, credit, relationships and credit. Child. Some of y'all about to get mad, and I don't care, because I'm almost 50. I'm sorry claiming it. I'm almost 50. Look at the skin. I'm 44, but I told, if y'all are late to the party, I told the girls I'm gonna start saying I'm 50. No, bad at that, I'm gonna say I'm 55. So they could be like, what? Oh my gosh. But anyway, as an almost 55-year-old with great skin, relationships and credit, day 18, page 71, if you have the Literature Challenge Credit Edition book. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is about learn how to respond to family and friends who want you to co-sign for their loan. Now, that's the 55-year-old. Oh my gosh. Who's trying to call me? Oh my gosh. Optimum, if you don't get off my damn phone. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. Sorry, y'all, on the live. Optimum was trying to call me. Meanwhile, at 8:29 at night, stop. Okay, so how to rock this task, how to respond to family and friends who ask to use your credit card for their gain, remove yourself as a co-signer from someone else's loan, remove authorized users from your credit card accounts. Okay. All right. So let's be real, right? I'm on page 71. Be cautious about co-signing or giving someone access to your credit. Here's why. If you co-sign a loan or credit card for someone who doesn't pay, the history of that non-payment is going to appear on what? Your credit report. So it's not just, here's the thing, it's two things. One, not only is the history, that bad history, going to take your credit card down, right? They're also going to say, guess what? When you co-sign, that's you too, boo-boo. That's your car. Yes, yes. You. That's your car. They're going to be like, girl, I don't all that. You put your name down for Sissy. Sissy didn't pay, so you got to pay. Because we knew Sissy wasn't going to pay. That's why we came to get you, Miss Credit Lady, Miss Good Credit. Okay, you want to put your name down? Well, now you and she must never part. Ducky, da, da. Both y'all off. Mm-hmm. You be like, wait, what? Yes. I'm telling you, co-signing not only means that whatever they do or don't do, it affects your credit. It also means you also owe. Now, here's the thing. Here's the gag. Oh, child. This is why co-signing is a hell no for me. Here's the gag. Let's just say you're like, oh, okay, my sissy poo. I love my sissy Tiffany. You don't know she's talking about. I love my sissy. She want to get a car. My 22-year-old sissy, my daughter. She's like my daughter. Okay, fine. You co-sign for your daughter, right? And then daughter is paying off. She's doing good. But then you want to get a house. And they say, girl, we would love to lend to you, but it looks like you already have too much debt. You're like, no, I don't. They're like, girl, a car note and a car note. You have two. I know. You do. You and Sissy. You and she must never part. Lucky da da. Girl. Yes. So I tell people, lend money, don't lend your name. Lend money, don't lend your name, because it's very difficult to get out of a co-sign situation. I'm gonna tell you how to do it, but it's difficult to get out. You know, I much rather say, hey girl, here's $200. If I don't get it back, the money is going already. Right. But name is very difficult to get your name back. Even your own kids. That's right, Rosalind. No. So my dad, I remember the day, honey. I was I think I was in college. My dad said it's all down. He said, look at me in my eyes. Look at me deep in my eyes. He said, now look, because I have 4 sisters. He said, now look at your sisters. You love your sisters very much. I'm like, I do, Daddy. I love my sisters. I love my sister. He said, don't ever co-sign for them. I was like, Daddy. He was like, don't ever co-sign, not even for your sisters, and don't ask me to co-sign. He said, because it is easier to get back your money than it is your name. I much rather, if your sister needs help, you let her live with you, you give her money, but your name, honey, I remember he told us that. He said, look around. And I was like, wow. I remember my late husband, Jarrell, it was like one of the few times that we had an argument because he wanted me to co-sign for something. I was like, no, my dad told me. He's like, your dad? I'm like, yes, the financial expert himself. I have my master's in economics and my bachelor's in finance. Yes, that my father that made me the budgetista. He said, not even for your sisters. He said he wasn't doing it for his daughters. So you're my boyfriend. At the time, he was my boyfriend. I said, no. He was like, what? My ex-girlfriend, she co-signed. I said, okay, go see about her then. No, I'm not doing it. Right? Because it wasn't, I said, I much rather, he said, you don't trust me to pay back the bill. It wasn't that. But sure enough, a few months later, he got sick and he was out of work for a little bit. Sometimes it's not about someone is not responsible. If something even happens to you, it has nothing to do about responsibility sometimes. Now what? Now I owe your car and I can't even drive it. Okay? Okay. Okay. So now let's just say you do have someone that you here actually have an approach, actually have like a script, right? It's like, hey boo, I admire your ambition and desire to go to school. How much would you need in a loan? What are you studying and what is the career salary growth within that field? What is your plan for paying it back? For me to even consider co-signing, son, daughter, I need to feel confident in your career plans. So one, I say don't do it, but that's the kind of thing you can't say. That's approach one. Approach two, sorry, booski. I'm working on my credit to build my own, to buy my own house, car, whatever. And co-signing is another responsibility that doesn't fit into the plan right now. Okay. And if you're feeling gangster, you can say, I don't mix money in relationships. Okay. Sorry, I have a rule that I never co-sign for anyone. It's nothing personal. I just like to keep my relationships and finances separate. Money disputes can really be relationship killers. Or straightforward, no. Co-signing makes me also financially responsible for the loan. If something should happen to you and you don't make payments, I would have to take ownership of that debt. I don't feel comfortable assuming that responsibility. So this is like light, soft, and 55-year-old. Now, N-O spells no, but this is what I can do. If someone wants to use your credit card, cut to the chase. I don't have the funds, or I'm working on aggressively repaying my current debt. I want to be debt free by this time, so I can't let you use my credit cards. I'm using cash only right now. Okay. What if you already said yes to the favor? Whoo, child. So if you already said yes to the favor, you might have to sell that car if they're not paying it, or just pay off the loan yourself, unfortunately. You can apply for a co-signer release. So this is an option if the loan is in good standing and once a certain amount of on-time payments have been made. So let's just say, you did co-sign for your sister, and honestly, she's been doing a good job paying it back. You can apply for a co-signer release to say, look, it's been 2 years. She's been doing good. Please take me off. And so this even for student loans, you can apply for a co-signer release too. You can refinance the loan. Be like, come on, take them down to the local, financial institution of choice and have them refinance the loan under their own name. Okay, so you could pull yourself on out. And also too, you can remove an authorized user for your card. But the good thing about is with an authorized user, you don't actually have to give someone a card. But let's just say they snuck and got it because these kids don't listen. You can remove them by calling and just say, taking you off my card. Okay. Okay. Day 19, scams and frauds. Scams and frauds. You got to protect your identity from credit scams and frauds. So a few things you can do is to set up fraud alerts or freeze your credit if necessary. I remember at one point somebody was really trying to go to town on my credit report. So I had a strict fraud alert that anytime I did anything, they would have to send me a text or they would call me like, is that you? Yes. Is that you? Yes. So I did that for like a year until that person moved on to somebody else to try to scam, pick somebody else. You could also sign up for one of those like those alert systems like a LifeLock or whatever. That's really helpful. And you could also totally freeze like no one. So if you have a loved one, so y'all know that my beloved husband passed away like 2.5 years ago. And one of the things my financial advisor told me right away, she said, because people will see your posts, everybody don't wish you well. People will see your post, they will see an obituary, whatever, and then instantly be like, ooh, this perfect time. The family is not paying attention to try to steal that person's identity and run up their like what they owe. And so my husband didn't leave any debt, no credit card debt, no student loans, no car note, no nothing. He had a car and all that, but we didn't carry debt like that. And so imagine you're not really paying attention. And so she said, go onto each of the 3 credit bureaus and order a credit freeze. And I did. So I froze his credit indefinitely. So that way no one, and maybe people have tried. I wouldn't know because I froze it indefinitely. And so there's a few ways to protect yourself, um, go to Experian fraud alert, Equifax fraud alert, TransUnion fraud alert, the fraud alert will last for about 90 days. So let's just say you are doing some stuff online and you want to kind of like set up this fraud alert, but you should always be monitoring your credit anyway, like looking at your credit report, looking at your credit score. And oftentimes, if you get your free credit score, if something's out of the ordinary, they'll ping you. So you should be opening up those emails, And so freezing it is like really the only thing is that like when you freeze, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax all let you freeze. But the issue is that when you freeze, is that it makes it very difficult to do anything. But that's okay if you like I said, my husband's not here, so we're never going to use his credit. So freezing it is a good idea. Or if you're experiencing a lot of scams on your, as it relates to your credit, you might want to freeze it for a few months so people can't do anything. Okay. So here's how you can protect your identity. Go to each of the websites where you manage your financial accounts and remove your saved username and password if someone keeps hacking, because they might obviously know what your user and password is. So update that. Set fraud alerts or credit freezes, depending on how bad it is, and get identity theft protection. And so, yeah. So that is the task, because it doesn't make sense. This is why credit maintenance is we're talking about it, because it doesn't make sense to do all this only for your credit to be stolen. Okay. All right. Day 20 is on page 80. Review, reflect, relax. I always give you, the 6 day off. This is just when you can catch up, woosah, talk to your friends, say, look what I've been doing or whatever. Talk about how. First of all, let's just get into like my hair is looking so cute today. I was like, okay, I don't know why. I had it in a crazy bun. It kind of fell a little bit, like some crazy. You know how you go to sleep. My hair was just like in a snarl, like a knot, and then I took it out, and it looks like I did it. This is not intentional. I just took it down. I usually don't wear my hair down. I was like, ooh. So you know what I'm gonna do? I bought some pipe cleaners. I'm about to do the pipe cleaner curls, and I'm about to have like a head full of curls. Ooh, I'm telling you something. When I get my head full of curls, I'm gonna come on live, not to talk about money, just so you can look at me, so I can be like, I'm sorry, what? I can't hear you over my curls. Bounce. Okay. I'm gonna be bouncing. Okay, I'm gonna be your bouncy 55-year-old friend. Am I selling it? I told you I'm 55. I'm gonna start saying that so that way people can be like, oh my God, did you know the Budgetnista is 55? She looks amazing. Meanwhile, I'm a whole 44. But still, I feel like you get more props. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say I'm 80. This is 80. Girl, your girl is 80. That's too much. Okay, let me dial it on back. 60. All right, so that's day 20. Review, reflect, relax. Day 21, which is today. But today's not day 21, but today 21 is this, which is like checking in, going over the days with me. And then last but not least, it is day 22, which you've done already. Well, it depends when you're watching this. You're going to write down the steps you've taken so far to increase your credit score and chart your progress. Okay. So you're going to circle back to your day one credit score goals. Remember, that was day one. Write down each action you took or plan to take to increase your score from your day one sheet. That's why I had to do that day one, and chart your progress, because I gave you a goal sheet. Chart your progress, because I want you to visualize what you'll obtain when you reach your credit score goal. It's like, did you want to get a house? Did you want to? Someone wrote me, it was so nice. She was like where she started off to where she is now, because if you're taking the challenge, we do like a weekly quiz. Her credit score raised 30 points. That's incredible. 30 points could be the difference between you getting that apartment, you getting that house, you getting that car. Okay. In these 22 days, she raised 30 points. Okay. Like, I want you to just like, this is what's so important, is that like credit is this ongoing thing. I have made mistakes. Like the other day, I overdrafted on my daggone, it was like $2. I was so mad because of course they're going to charge you that 35 for that too. And so you got to be careful, because sometimes that can affect your credit score. And I don't know, like I have this one credit card, it's automated, but every once in a while it like doesn't pull it. So I always got to check. And one day it was late, like 6 or 7 days, even though it's automated. And so it dropped my score like 30 points. I was hot. I was in the 800s and then I was in the 700s. Now, here's the thing about credit. I'm not purchasing anything with credit right now. So, it took me a couple months, score back up. But it pissed me off because I was like, I automated it, so I don't have to worry about it. But that's why you still have to check even on your automation. Does that make sense? Even on your automation. But I don't stress too much about credit because I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying anything. Okay? So like, it's not about being perfect. So you just tell yourself, if there's something that you're wanting that you need credit for. So this is your a house, a car, whatever, any sort of major borrowing that's coming up. Give yourself at least 6 months to get ready. I want you to think about it like you preparing for the, I don't know, the Olympics. I'm sure you prepare for years, but you're preparing for your, a marathon, or you're preparing for vacation. Well, you don't do 6 months, but you know what I mean? That you want to give yourself 6 months, you should be able to turn it around unless you have some really big things, like big derogatory things on your credit. 6 months is enough time to turn almost any kind of credit around. And so with all the tips that I showed you, especially week one, if you give yourself 6 months, you'll be ready for the house, you'll be ready for the car, you'll be ready for whatever it is that you're ready for. And so for me, I'm not stressed. When I saw my credit score drop because, like my automation didn't go through, oh, you know what I think about? That's probably why I overdrafted. I wonder if I had the money in the right account. That could be it. And they probably tried to take it. They was like, you don't got it in here. And so maybe I think I pulled money out of the wrong account when I swiped my card. So that was on me. But either way, I went from like a, 810 to like a 770 or something like that. But one, 770 is still great. And two, I'm not borrowing anything. But if I was, I'd be like, let me focus, and I'd be really on it. So if you know you're borrowing within the next 3 to 6 months, be on your credit and be watching it like a hawk. Okay. So week 3 credit checklist recap: hard versus soft inquiries, day 15. Your credit mix, day 16. 17, day 17, lower your interest rates. Day 18, relationships and credit, don't cosign. Day 19, scams and fraud, protect yourself. Day 20, review, reflect, relax. Day 21, weekly inspiration. That's what we're doing now. And day 22, increase your credit, increase aspirations. What you need good credit for, huh? What you need good credit for? Okay. That's funny. These books look like memory lane. Child, I need to update them. Anyway, the Literature Challenge Credit Edition. It is free on the line, but if you want the book to go along with it, certainly you can order it on Amazon. Was it fun? Now, here's the thing. We started off friends. It was all pretend. Yeah. Since you've been gone. Y'all don't know about that, but if you was 55 like me, you would know. I'm selling it. I'm selling it. Anyway, here's the thing. If you are like, ooh, I want to do it again, you can do it as many times as you want. The credit challenge. That a new cohort will be starting in like a week or so, depending on when you're watching this. So you can always go to lrccredit.com, and then sign up for the next cohort. So if you want to do it as much as you want in order to get back on credit, like it's free, bring your mom, your sister, your cousin, your hubby, your partner, your grown children, do it alongside them. And so that's the thing. It's a resource that's available to you. Okay. Yes, the link is posted. See that? Sign up here, LRC Credit. Well, for y'all on Instagram, it says credit, but you see, the link is right here. LRC Credit. See? Y'all see? Any last questions before your girl jumps off? Before your girl jumps off. Any last questions? I'm just looking. We're playing basketball. Will you do the one of purchasing a home soon, child? The way interest rates are rating, I don't know if we're going to do a home buying one. The home buying one is written, but I don't know if we'll do that challenge. We're going to wait to see, because I don't know that it's the greatest idea to buy a home right now. Let me see. You're doing it again? Yeah, do it again. Honestly, do it again. Like if you didn't finish, the good thing about when you do it is that you'll always be doing it with the cohort, right? Because there's 3 things you need to get on Financial Track: knowledge, access, community. Knowledge is it's free. All this in here that you learn, all this is free, right? Then access. What is access? Access is usually expertise through someone. Hello, me. And then community, you have this community, this cohort that you do alongside with other people. Okay. Knowledge, access for community. Yes, this you can always rewatch this recording. All right, just want to check to make sure. It's gonna be there. Francine, yes, we'll be doing that, but it'll be a course, so it won't be a challenge. So yes. Okay, let me just see. All right, let me run because your girl got work to do. I got work to do. I got a job, baby. Who sings that song? Signing off, your fave 55-year-old influencer. I'm 55. Girl, y'all know I'm 44. But I'm trying to sell it so I can get the 55-year-old influence because there's not a lot of girls in that space, honey. The coin is coining over there. All right, bye, y'all. Have a good night. I got work to do. I got work to do. I got work to do. I got a job, baby.